This is the 2024 Ford Maverick Tremor, a $3,495 option that turns this baby truck into the ultimate off-roader.
Or does it make more sense to pick up a Maverick FX4 and make it your own off-road buggy? Hello everyone and welcome to Performance on Wheels. My name is Todd, my son Austin and I, we make all sorts of videos on all sorts of different cars. And today we unpack not only the Maverick Tremor, but also a custom Maverick. Before we even get into anything, we really need you to hit that like and hit that subscribe button, because we are going to be one of the first YouTubers, knowing that we are the #1 Maverick channel on all of YouTube, to release the 2025 Ford Maverick to you.
Taking trims out of the equation, you can pick your own Lariat XLT. It's totally up to you. Either way you do it, there's about a $3,300 price difference between purchasing an FX4 Maverick and a Maverick Tremor. Today we're going to dive deep into finding out if it is truly worth spending the money to get the Tremor, or if you get an FX4, put a $700 lift on it and a $1,200 set of wheels and tires and come in lower than a Tremor Maverick to begin with.
Yeah.
Which one makes more sense? Today we're going to unpack that.
Austin will really dive into the things that really matter, but I think it's important to state some of the obvious things as well.
Let's do it.
Right? So there are some things I really love about the Tremor. I think that the trim package itself and some of the decals and the different color accents, whether it's on the grille or the tow hooks, or even the little XLT, and my favorite, that little symbol of color they put on the wheel. I think those are really fun. They're cute. They're manly. Whatever you want to describe the cosmetic add-ons to the Tremor, I think it's really well done.
I do too, and that also carries on to the interior. Don't forget, we have the little Tremor button that's actually down on our drive mode selection, and on top of that we also have some availability for some locking diffs. We'll get into that in a minute. But on those seats we have that same goldish stitching that carries through, Tremor imprinted on them. So that Tremor package isn't just a functional thing, but also a visual thing as well. Going back to some of that function that you're talking about, Austin, it does start up front. And believe it or not, they actually say the Tremor is almost an inch longer than an FX4. And it's really hard to see this on the rear end. I still can't figure out what they're talking about on how the Tremor is a half an inch longer than an FX4. I've been staring at it for a while and I can't figure it out. It looks identical to me. If you know, comment down below what that difference is. But up front, it's 0.6 or maybe 0.5 longer, and you can see that it's that front fascia. And that is where that approach angle is dramatically different. It's like a 9-degree difference. So coming up to a steep angle, because of that approach angle on the Tremor, you could potentially enter an obstacle a lot easier. And I will say, only because I mentioned it to you before the video, it would be really cool if you had a custom Maverick, if you were able to take that front fascia from the Tremor and swap that over to a custom Maverick. If someone's done that, I also want to know down below. The top part of the painted bumper is exactly the same. So in reality, if you can figure out how to separate the plastic from the top part of the painted bumper, it can totally be done. So here's the reality. The Tremor sits about 0.8 inches higher than an FX4. So it's 0.8 inches taller. It's got 0.8 inches more of ground clearance. In that suspension, there's 0.8 inches, right? And that suspension is revised slightly over the FX4. They say there's some different dampening in the shocks, although everything looks identical if you were to look at it. It's an internal difference is what Ford claims on that suspension. I will say that when you're behind the wheel of the Tremor, it does feel like a fun little truck, remembering back to driving ones without a lift kit. So it does have a little more meat behind the wheel, if you can catch that analogy. And when we come to the back, it's hard not to comment on that Tremor emblem. But there's also a difference in the departure angle. So again, there's something going on back there that I'm having a hard time seeing just the slightest difference on the back. Really, the difference is on the front end with the approach angle. And because it's 0.8 inches higher over a factory FX4,
Obviously, it's going to be hard to play turtle, or harder to play turtle on the Tremor versus an FX4.
Yes, that is true if you are comparing a Tremor to a factory FX4. But what if you take half the amount of money that you would have spent on that Tremor and you modify your FX4? You put a 2-inch rough country full suspension lift kit in it for around $700. You put a set of 31.5-inch off-road tires and some sweet looking wheels, and this thing now sits like a skyscraper over that factory Tremor, giving it better approach angles, better departure angles. You now have more ground clearance for half the price.
Austin, you bring up a very interesting point that now I can have a bigger, badder looking Maverick, but not only bigger and badder, I can also customize it and personalize it with my own set of wheels and tires.
You could.
And it's going to be bigger than the Tremor.
Yes, it will.
But the fact of the matter is there's more to the story and there's more to that Tremor package. And some may argue if you're actually buying the Maverick for some off-road capability or an off-road experience, there's something that the Tremor offers that you cannot get in that FX4.
Which is?
It's the rear locking differential, Austin.
And the locking all-wheel drive system. So both of those obviously are going to make for a more capable vehicle off-road, being able to lock the rear end to, of course, increase traction when you're trying to go over some rocks or you're on some unstable, whatever, gravel, dirt, whatever you're trying to get through. The Maverick Tremor is able to lock up that rear end and lock the four-wheel drive system, so it'll send equal power to all four wheels, which is of great benefit.
Okay, so it's a pretty substantial tool to have in the toolbox if you're actually out using, crawling over rocks on off-road terrain. If you've never experienced hitting a button and turning on a locking differential, like, it is an instant tool that can typically get you effortlessly over whatever the terrain is. So it is a substantial function. But hang on, Todd, Austin, there's also a difference in the skid plates. Take a look at these pictures here, because I beg to differ. One is shiny black, and that is true. That is underneath the Tremor. But over on the FX4, we have what looks like maybe some galvanized steel. The only difference I really see is on the FX4, and maybe this is because of the 4K tow package. I might be wrong in this. I don't remember if the one we're standing next to has the 4K tow package.
You cannot get the 4K tow package with a Tremor.
So this is probably why this difference exists, is there's a little cooling vent on the front of the skid plate on the FX4. Maybe that's for the front differential.
I do need to give a quick shout out to Apple Autos for allowing us to use the two Mavericks that are supplied in today's video. There's a link to both of them down in the description below. And yes, that is right, my old lifted FX4 Lariat Maverick is available for sale for $38,000. If you are interested, be sure to check out the link down in the description below. There is, however, one other thing that is greatly beneficial from choosing a Tremor when you're on the XLT side of things,
okay,
and that is the black appearance package that comes with the Tremor. You get the blacked out headlights, the blacked out taillights, but in my opinion, what the biggest catch is if you get an FX4 XLT without getting the black appearance package, you're still gonna have that blue, orange, and like light gray interior,
okay,
where you're going to get the dark interior with the Tremor, and you need to get the black appearance package, which is a near $2,000 option.
Seriously?
Yeah, so it almost makes the Tremor seem kind of appealing if you're looking at an XLT,
okay,
but in my opinion, if you're looking at a Lariat, the FX4 seems more appealing.
I was definitely eyeing up those taillights in that black appearance package when we had the Lariat that's in today's video against the XLT, and you know, it's an opinion thing, but I almost like the black appearance package over the most luxurious option that you can get in the Maverick. Both headlights and taillights, I almost prefer in the Tremor. And the reason I like the amber lights instead of the daytime running lights that are offered on the Lariat in today's video, that's not necessarily, we're not comparing that, but everyone would say that's the headlight I'm after because it's the top dog, right? So I love the fact that your daytime running lights on the Tremor are amber,
yeah,
because they align with the trim on the grill and
yeah,
the
that's true,
and the side XLT.
That is true.
Tremor badge on the side. So it's kind of fun. It all blends together. It makes it look like a really cool truck.
All right, Dad, right now you have to choose lifted FX4 with some wheels and tires or a Tremor.
Okay, okay, okay. XLT only, right? We're comparing apples to apples here as far as...
Or Lariats only, it's up to you.
Okay. So you can get a trimmer lariat.
You can.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Austin, because I like a lot of things with the trimmer package, and I really understand how like awesome that locking rear diff is, what I would do instead of making my own personalization is I'd probably buy a trimmer and I'd probably put a slightly larger set of tires on just to add that personal touch.
And then not touch the suspension, just leave it as it is.
Leave it as it is.
I would agree with you. I would really like that. Just leave the wheels and put a bigger set of tires on it on a stock Tremor. I think that is a fantastic option. However, on the two models that we're comparing today, one thing I'm having a hard time with is I personally owned this Ford Maverick, and I almost ordered this one. I was actually between these two because the sticker on this XLT Tremor is actually higher than the sticker on this Lariat FX4. But this Lariat FX4 has way more features when it comes to luxury and living on a day-to-day basis versus the off-road features, and I knew I was going to enjoy these features more driving it around than I was going to enjoy these features living in a state that doesn't have any off-roading anywhere near me.
Now, Austin, just right before we wrap up, because everyone's asking in the comments now, well, what all's done to that, right? So we have numerous videos covering every modification that's done to the FX4 Lariat in today's video, but I will tell you it had a $37,995 MSRP.
Yes, it did.
And it had $4,200 worth of modifications. That still is just a hair over the sticker on the Tremor in today's video, which is $38,240. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on Performance on Wheels. Remember to hit that like and subscribe button because that 2025 Maverick is coming soon.